do I start this? Hi, I'm JJ. Is that how I do it? Hello there, I'm JJ. You're killing me. Hey, the truth is, I don't really know how to start this. I just want to let you know I'm JJ. And we learned of a diagnosis a while back that many people are having to deal with, I'm sure. And we've learned a lot from other people who have shared information about their personal journey. So we thought we'd pay it forward. This is not medical advice for anybody who's listening. It is only my journey and mine alone. Every person is different. So check with your doctor or your medical team if you have questions about your specific issue. Some time ago, around the last week of April 2026, I noticed a tender spot or a nodule on the right side of my neck. I made an appointment with my primary care physician, who immediately ordered a CT scan, and on April 30th referred me to an ENT. On May 20th, an ENT had received and reviewed the CT scan, which indicated there was a high likelihood of cancer. My ENT conducted a nasal scope, which confirmed a growth on my tongue. Based on both the CT scan and the nasal scope, my ENT said a biopsy was warranted. Up to that point, I can tell you that the nasal scope was absolutely horrible. I ran a camera down my nostril into the back of my throat so the ENT could take a look and see what was going on in there. During the nasal scope, the ENT's physician assistant, the PA, numbed up my nostrils and the scope was conducted. It was extremely uncomfortable as they fished the camera down my nostril into the back of my neck, asking me to inhale as he continued inserting the scope. It was horrible. Thought I was gonna yak all over the office. I informed my ENT prior to this experience that I was an Air Force veteran, not a Marine, because if I was a Marine, I'd have done it myself. Just saying. Any of my brothers and sisters in the military in different branches will appreciate what I'm saying about that joke. Anyway, I am not a good patient. I'll confess that up front. So based on that experience with the ENT, a biopsy surgery was conducted on June the 2nd to obtain tissue from my tongue. A sample was confirmed by an on-site pathologist to be squamous cell carcinoma of an HPV type. Now, for all of you who have ever heard of HPV, it used to be something that was weird to discuss or something nobody ever wanted to discuss, but not anymore. It's a very common virus. Most folks have it, and their immune systems typically clear the HPV virus naturally within a year to a year and a half or 2 years at the most. Most original infections occurred decades ago, and they're either cleared and they never knew it, never knew they had it, or it becomes cancer decades later. As my doc put it, if you're going to have cancer, this is the best kind to have. HPV-related head and neck cancers have a 90+% cure rate. That, for me and my wife, is excellent news. Non-HPV virus-related cancers, however, have a cure rate of about 30%. Back to the procedure, the ENT was also able to remove a sample from a nearby lymph node in the left side of my neck. This sample was also confirmed as squamous cell carcinoma. He did not take the entire lymph node because it was too close to the carotid artery. That procedure gave me a nice incision and scar on the left side of my neck below my jawline. I'm trying to think how to say this. As well as a drain in my neck for approximately 4 days post-surgery. The drain itself was uncomfortable and awkward, but not a lot of pain. However, the next appointment was an incision check and the drain was removed. This was horrifying. She said, and I quote, "You're not going to like me very much." And she was right. She counted to 3, she removed the drain, and I stomped the floor. She said, "Trust me, you'll be better when you get home. You'll feel better when you get home." And she was right. I felt much better when I arrived at the house. Whew, that was tough. During the next 4 weeks, we were set up with my oncology team. The team consists of my chemo oncologist, a radiation oncologist, and an amazing support staff, all of whom are members of the Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders out of Fort Worth, Texas. I can personally testify from the president on down to my team have been amazing. Their anticipated treatment protocol is for 6 to 7 weeks of radiation treatment, 5 days a week, and chemo 1 day a week. I'm currently scheduled for a feeding tube procedure tomorrow morning. They will keep me overnight and prepare me for my chemo port on Tuesday morning. The radiation oncologist was very clear. She anticipated that I would need a feeding tube within 3 to 4 weeks of this plan of treatment. We were very hesitant about having it, but did not want to take any chances of losing too much weight, which causes other medical complications. If you're in the position and your oncologist and your team recommends a feeding port or a feeding tube, I seriously hope you will take that recommendation to heart.
Talk to them about it.
If you have questions, talk to them about it. Investigate, research. Don't take it lightly. The chemo port procedure will be Tuesday morning, and it sounds like a minimally invasive procedure. They basically do a small incision 2 fingers below my collarbone and put the port in, find a vein, tie into the vein so that the medication goes from the port into the vein instead of having to shoot my veins several times once a week. Part of getting ready for the treatment was getting fit for my radiation mask. And I can tell you that was both scary and interesting. The mask itself, I don't know what kind of material it's made out of, but it fit me from chest to the top of my head, and it's in some sort of a frame. It's a flat piece of material that they take and submerge in 169-degree water to make it pliable. And as I'm laying on the table, they brought the material over. They had a tech on each side of me. They laid it on my face and informed me it will not burn you. It's hot and it will cool fast. They placed it over my face and began patting my head and my face and my nose and around my head, and strapped that material to the table where it eventually dried and became solid. And it was a perfect mask. When they lifted it off, it's a one-of-a-kind fit. In fact, my oncologist had one in the interview room when we were getting started, and I asked her about it, and she said, "You'll get one of those, and I'll let you take it home if you want to." And I told her, "Only if you autograph it." And she chuckled and said, "I'll be glad to do that," which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, don't know that I'll bring mine home, but that was neat. Losing too much weight can also require a refitting of the mask. That's another reason for the feeding tube, because if I can't eat or swallow anytime in the procedure, at least I'll be able to get nourishment through the feeding tube. And the worst case scenario is losing the weight and then having to refit the mask and slow down the progression of the plan. We also had a chemo prep session with a chemo oncologist physician's assistant. I'll shout out to Nick. He was amazing, and he was very helpful. He informed us of a lot of information we weren't aware of, and we had some common ground with places that we grew up when we were younger. This coming week, I'll be having the feeding tube put in on Monday and the chemo report on Tuesday, with my first radiation and chemo treatment on Wednesday this coming week. Those are the facts as they are currently. I'll also tell you that as a Christian, I am strong in my faith, and I know for a fact that God is using people around me to pray, and that if it's His will, I'll be 100% in the next 7+ weeks. My PET scan came back great. I didn't have any other cancer in any other place in my body. So we're dealing with this target area, and I'm going to lay hold fast to the Lord and move forward with this. So any Christians out there, pray for my medical team and my wife as we journey together. Let us know in the comments below if there's anything that we can do to encourage you or to help you in such a journey. If you want to follow along with me, we'll be hopefully putting out videos once a week to keep you up to speed. Please like and subscribe and share with folks if you know that they're going through a journey, that this might be an encouragement to them, and we can encourage each other. Until then, be blessed.